I am not a hoarder, I promise, but we've been doing monthly grocery hauls for a really long time, and so I'm just accustomed to shopping like this. Hi friends, welcome back to my quarantine kitchen. There are going to be a whole bunch of ladies sharing a little bit of help and hope in their kitchens, so go ahead, take a peek below at all those links and go check them out. Also, you can check out the playlist link below or at the end of the video, and just keep going. They've got so many great tips, you're going to absolutely love them. So last time I showed you a little bit of how I clean out and then take inventory. So if you have not seen that, you can go ahead and check that video right there or there, one of the places. It's a fun clean with me video and taking inventory. So I just showed you a little bit of the process and how we use that to get our meal planning going. This week I wanted to show you how I make one grocery haul last us for a whole month. Message from the future! Okay, not really. This is what happened. So we've already been having my quarantine kitchen playlist series with all of our other YouTube friends. But what we didn't realize that while I was videoing this is that we are also doing a live giveaway every other Monday night with Claire Cookie Crumb Fun right here on YouTube. We get together and we join you, we visit, we laugh, we encourage one another, and we also have a whole lineup of Trim Healthy Mama bloggers that have offered to give their stuff just to bless you. Same time, Monday, 8 p.m. Central, and we're gonna do a little giveaway. A lot of fun, really encouraging. I would absolutely love it if you would join us. So, okay, back to the show. So the first place we went was to Sam's because I wanted to get some of the key bulk items that I knew that they had, where in our stores locally, like Walmart doesn't carry them, and Aldi is great, but they tend to carry smaller packages of things, which I find a little bit harder on me when I am going like bulk grocery shopping, once a month grocery shopping. I'm going to show you a few of the things that we stored in here and how I make that stretch throughout the month. Look into the light. Okay, so up here, you might not be able to see it, but I have a head of leaf lettuce, which came in our imperfect food box, which is being eaten up tonight. And then I have some romaine, and I'm gonna save all of the bottom pieces so I can put them in the garden. Our lettuces and things like that, they don't seem to last as long. Now getting romaine or iceberg lettuce, iceberg is just a filler, calm down, I know it's not as nutrient dense, it's a filler. There's lots of fillers in the world and it's okay to get them, okay? Just need to throw that out there. But typically, these are gonna go bad a little bit faster than some of the other things that I got. So we hit our salad things first, our pre-prepared or softer greens first. I did get some coleslaw. The reason that I get the chopped coleslaw is because it's just a quicker way to prepare it. Now, I know we've got all the time in the world right now, right? We still do need some of the quick, easy tips. And if we're gonna be honest, just because we're home all the time doesn't mean that we want to spend all of our time cooking, right? Okay, let's not leave the fridge open. We just had some turnips last night, but these turnips, we'll be eating those, and those are really helpful for me because instead of having potatoes, I have the turnips, which are just like lower carb. We got beets. Beets will last for a good long time in this refrigerator. I know, I've tested it. And then I have cabbage. Now, great things to buy if you're wanting some healthy vegetables, but you need them to last till the end of the month. So just keep in mind, you're gonna wanna like maybe hang on to these a little bit longer than you would, like, you know, so you've got your bagged cabbage. Eat this first, right? And even this lasts for a little while. Over here, I've got a whole bunch of broccoli. I've got eggplant. There's celery down there. And I've got kale. So those are things that we'll be eating quickly. Now these peppers have sort of been in here for a little bit. And you can see they're sort of showing a little bit of wear. But we'll be eating these this week at some point. So then we also have our broccoli. Now our broccoli, I'm going to want to eat this within the next week and a half because I do not like it to go yellow, but we can eat it fresh and cooked. Those up. And these eggplants, we have some misa'a, which is an Egyptian eggplant tomato dish, which is delicious and really quick to throw together. We have things like snow peas, and we'll be eating those as snacks. And if they start like wilting just a little bit, we'll throw them in, we'll saute them up. But if you have cucumbers, those are something you're going to want to use in the first week. Don't let those hang out in your fridge too long. You'll end up wasting it and then feeling really upset about it. I've got 4 kids and we love our bananas. So bananas are going to be one of the first things that we use. Yes, darling. Yeah, here. So bananas are one of the first things that we tend to eat up, and any bananas that just start turning a little bit brown, like these ones, we're going to throw them in the freezer or throw them in the fridge, and we'll be making banana bread. Guys, onions had been out for like forever, but I finally found a whole bunch. So I got some from Imperfect Food, and then we were heading into Sam's and I saw the giant bags available, and I'm like, we're doing it. Because I think French onion soup is happening this week, so we're pretty excited. Also, garlic. I got a giant bag of garlic, so I'm fully anticipating roasting a whole bunch of garlic. I have had these squash since this fall, and they'll last for a little while. Same with these acorn squash. Now the acorn squash, one of them went bad, and it was just laying there shriveled, so sad at the bottom of my rack. But these will last for a while. Also spaghetti squash. Aren't these adorable? Now normally the spaghetti squash that I grow or get are humongous, but here's like a little baby spaghetti squash. Ooh, avocados. Hey, can you take these avocados and put them over there so they don't go bad? Thanks, honey. Okay, so potatoes. Now, I cover them up so they don't go green, but we did not get a ton of potatoes. Okay, and so I did show you this last week, but we did go shopping again. I stocked up on okra. We, more than just putting it in recipes, we like to eat okra roasted. Now, this okra, 1 bag of this barely feeds our whole family. So 3 bags is not a lot, but we didn't want to get crazy. We wanted to leave some in the store. So we did go with some Brussels sprouts. I like to have those roasted as well. We've got some seasoning blends, some pepper and onion strips, because, you know, even when our peppers and onions are no longer good, or not no longer good, when we eat those up, these will stay good and be in here waiting for us. Mixed vegetables. This is just a great way, like I add this to all sorts of things. Lots of cauliflower, because again, and if I roast this or if I make mashed cauliflower, it takes 3 bags to feed my family. So I've only got 6 bags here, so I'm not hoarding. I'm just, this is not even a month's worth, but we're gonna stretch it. Blueberries and strawberries, we don't, because again, when all the rest of the fruit is gone, this will be left for us, and I like to have fresh, but I also like to have some frozen in here back up. So I do prefer getting the wild blueberries because they're smaller and they seem to go longer, but it's okay. We got the regular blueberries from Sam's Club, and that's okay. Again, our spinach, if you get fresh spinach, you know how sometimes it starts going weird in the bag? My friend Ruthie is a genius, and she just told me put it right in the freezer, and then like right before you want to use it, get it out and beat it to death, and it'll break up into little pieces, and that works out amazingly. Way easier than getting cooked spinach and draining it. And I know, I'm sure there's plenty of reasons why not to do that, but I do this. Bananas for banana bread. That's how we make a lot of our produce stretch. Let me try this again. You're gonna want to use up your pre-prepared food or your lettuces or softer things first. They tend to go bad a little bit faster or like lose that great flavor. Next week, you know, the things that last a little bit longer, the heads of cabbage and things like that, and then freezer and winter squash, and then canned. So that's how I make a whole month last. I did take advantage of some of the tomato products. Like there's like diced tomatoes and tomato sauce and crushed tomatoes, because we just eat a lot of tomato-y things. Like the tomato sauce, this giant can, how will I use that? I'm actually going to make some fermented ketchup for our family, so about half of that will go to that, and we like ketchup, and so that's okay, but I want to ferment it, and that way we just have a little bit more probiotics in our diet and way less sugar. You know what I'm saying? Here I got salsa, where I did get some fresh tomatoes. They're not going to last very long. So I did get a giant thing of salsa just to make sure that the kids have something. They like to put it on eggs or whatever that they like to put it on. Salsa is a hit here. I've got all of my smaller cans of tomato sauce and diced tomatoes and crushed. And I did get a giant thing of pickles. Now, pickles. We eat a lot of pickles here. I don't even know why. And we do have hamburgers, but not that often, maybe. We put it on sandwiches, and also like sometimes some of us just want to eat them just as they are. I feel like those really stretch the meal. And pickles have vinegar, and anytime that you add vinegar, it gives you more of a full feeling. I don't know why. Same with hot sauce. So if your family likes pickles or olives and you have it in the budget, grab it because it'll help fill up those bellies faster. I did get some juice. Now, the juices I only use for kombucha or kefir water or kefir milk. We do not drink juice just as is. I feel like that's a huge waste. I'm one of those moms. I did also get fruit. We got apples and pears, Imperfect Foods. We got some grapefruit and limes, and I already had some lemons that I'm working through. And then I picked up a thing of mandarins, which are almost gone because, you know, the kids, they love citrus. And then some tomatoes, which I am trying to use up before they go bad. Last time I showed you how to use scraps in like a freezer bag, like taking onion peels and little pieces of garlic or celery or whatever to flavor stocks. But this time I wanted to show you how I use those for new growth to put in the garden, so I have something like fast. Actually, like we're talking about in a couple weeks, I can already be utilizing some of this stuff that I put in the garden. And this is just from using vegetable scraps that you already get. So let me go ahead and show you that now. Right here I have some turnips. You can see all I did was take them out of the bag, and they already had these little sprouts on them. So what I'll end up doing with these is putting them right in the ground, and at the very least I'm gonna have some great turnip greens, some new greens to cook, and those are like super good for you. So I'm just gonna tuck that back down there so it gets a little bit more water, and when we head out to the garden, which will probably be today or tomorrow, we'll just plant those right in there. Also, here is celery. I change the water every day to make sure these are not getting stagnant. So that's a great way to use your celery stalk. If you want to plant it instead of just using it for soups, is taking it, just chopping off the bottom, make sure you leave a good amount, and you can get some fresh celery stalks in the garden. And if you don't have a garden, you could always just do this in pots. These are some garlic. So a few of these had sprouts when I got them out, and so I just put them in water, and they're still sprouting. Even if they're a little bit dry, sometimes if you put them in water, you're going to see that they will start sprouting again, and so you can just sort of give it a chance. I'm going to put these in the garden. It is a little bit late in my area to be putting garlic in, but I will just snip the tops of them and use that for seasonings. If I get any scapes, which is the center piece that curls, then I will use that to season. It's really light, garlicky flavor, but I'm not worried about putting them in too late. They're still worth it. Still worth it to do. Okay, romaine. So this is one of the reasons that I buy romaine. I love that I can take the bottom piece, and I mean not a lot, of the romaine and just leave a few of the tiny little leaves in the center, and it starts sprouting and growing all on its own. And these were all clustered together, and as soon as I put it in here, they start rooting a little bit, and then they spread out and start growing. I just took the bottom piece off of cabbage, and you see those nice roots there? Whole bunch of roots. I keep this in a smaller jar so it just rests on top. That way the rest of the cabbage, the rest of it doesn't rot. But just a few little sprouts there is all I need, and I did not get cabbage in the ground. So this, because I didn't get any cabbage in the ground when it was time, this is a great alternative, and I will end up getting some great cabbage just from a little piece here. This is my kids' project. We live in Texas, and so they started all on their own. They just started some grapefruit, and you can see this one I think is no good anymore, but this one is still sprouted, so we're gonna plant that, and they're gonna try their hand at growing some grapefruit. These I am not putting in the garden. A great source of vitamin D is mushrooms, and especially mushrooms that have sat in the sunshine. So I'm just setting these in the sun and letting them absorb some of that vitamin D, because then when I eat them, I benefit from that. So if you get those mushrooms, just pop them on the windowsill and yeah, get yourself a little more vitamin D. If you get organic sweet potatoes, you will find that they will sprout for you, which is awesome. So if you want to plant some, grab yourself a bag of organic, or even from Aldi. I don't think that they spray their sweet potatoes. And you can just throw those in the garden when it's time. Those are my tips on how to use some of your vegetable scraps or things that you would otherwise throw away to, start a little new growth and get a little more use out of those. Last time I showed how we work through and we come up with what we're going to be having for the whole month. We take our family meal planner. Showed you this last week, how we did it. And this month, I'm just gonna fill out all of the dinners because I already have the breakfast, lunch, and snacks done up. I showed that, right? And now I'm going to stagger it all out using the most perishable things in the first couple weeks. And then by midweek, I'll be using things like, the cabbage and the beets and the turnips if they're not already gone. And then by the end, I'll be using a lot of the frozen and the canned. But because I have imperfect foods, I'm planning on another order. That way I'm still getting fresh fruits and vegetables that we need without having to go out. And they did have a couple other options of things that I could grab, so I'm probably going to take advantage of that. So our world has definitely changed, but there's one thing that always remains the same, and that is the Lord's faithfulness to us. So if you are finding yourself just overwhelmed with all of the things that are happening right now, ground yourself in His Word and in prayer, and get outside, stretch, get some sunshine, eat some food with vitamin D. Take those little opportunities to remind yourself that our world might be a little bit skewed and things are going to be different, but that does not mean that we can't move forward with hope and joy. So I just wanted to remind you of that, just in case maybe you're struggling a little bit too with some of the changes that are happening out there.